Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Christopher Hall Show. And I'm excited to welcome to the program Dr. Christopher Hall. Dr. Hall, how are you? Thank you for your service. How are you, Chris?
Wow, things are going pretty good. Of course, busy, taking care of patients always, in the emergency room, and but very excited, about the guest that we have today.
I am too, and I always love the fact that NFL athletes or any athlete in general or anyone of some sort of success gives back and figures out a way to make it a business. Wow, that's a perfect combination. Should be on Shark Tank with that kind of story. But go ahead, Chris, introduce our guest.
Well, no problem. Wow. So today we have a former Super Bowl champ. We have a entrepreneur, a person who's a motivator. And so, wow, just very excited to welcome to the show, Mr. Justin Watson. Welcome to the show, Justin.
Hey, thank you. Thank you both for having me on. It's an honor to be on here. I'm happy to be in this spot right now and sharing this platform with you two.
Exactly, Justin. So for our before we're going to get into a lot of the story and different things, but update us. Can you believe it's been almost a year since the pandemic in the U.S. when we shut everything down March 21st, 2 days from now? Can you believe it? It's been a year. It's just gone so fast. How have you dealt with it?
It's interesting. Like everyone else, probably there's been the ebbs and flows, and it's been an emotional roller coaster. It's been some good things and some bad things. When it first started off, I kind of appreciated the reset. I think that, as a country, we kind of needed to kind of take a step back. Let's look at things from a different perspective. I saw fathers walking down the street with their kids for the first time, because they're always going to work. People at home having family dinners. So those are kind of the positive things. I always try to look at the positive out of something that was just kind of grueling at the same time. So, but we are today, right? I think we're on an upswing, so all is well.
Exactly. I'm hoping an upswing, right? 2021 excitement can be. And I think the ultimate thing is, I think we figured out this virus, even though it's still very dangerous. We at least know we can live. We can, in certain parts of the country, we can learn more than others. We understand that, but we have to just, and as Dr. Hall explained, it's just, again, a virus that's not going to go away. We just have to learn to live the new normal in so many ways. All right, yeah. Dr. Hall, what is your first question for Justin?
Wow, well, no problem. I agree with Justin, exactly what you're saying. And so, we see where Justin is now. There's so many young people that would really love to be where he is. And then again, what could parents really hope for? So tell us a little about that story, Justin. Tell us about how you grew up, where you grew up, and just a little bit about your upbringing.
So I'm first generation born into the United States. My parents were from Jamaica. Life was a little bit different growing up for me in such that we didn't, my father would, instead of me going out and playing football in the street, he was teaching me how to build a fence in the backyard. My mother, in Jamaica, they always instill these values in you. And they have all these sayings that, we used to live by, that really kept me thinking, in a very positive manner. So I've never felt like I was kind of being held back or held down. I felt like I was raised to believe that anything you wanted to do was possible. Go out there and hang your own shingles. So I kind of did that. I took it in stride and was able to just really play 1 year of high school football, ironically, and also on the back end of that, get a Super Bowl championship ring. So you really can't do that without being optimistic and positive and believing that anything is possible. Not only that, even in that senior year, we won one game my senior year. So it wasn't even a good squad, but to go from that, to a Super Bowl championship, obviously there's a lot of layers in between that caused that to happen.
Now, Justin, being Jamaica born in all those ways and not playing high school football to a senior, did you watch when you were a little kid football on TV and stuff or not? Were you?
No. So that was the thing. A game was never on television. The only thing I did, we went outside and we played street football. So, and I was always trying to beat the next guy because I've been competitive. So that was my only experience, was just going up to the school in the big yard and going out there playing receiver, saying, throw me the ball, and running past the guy and catching the ball. But I had no formal football experience other than, my senior year in high school.
See, and that's surprising, but also, so when you said growing up didn't watch football on TV, that wasn't the number one football in Jamaica, right? The real football was soccer, right?
Soccer. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you had
I knew nothing about that
how
brown
did you even
ball.
learn about football? Did you ever watch videos or anything, or how did you learn about football? Yeah.
So it was a guy by the name of James McAllister, rest in peace. He actually played in the NFL, he played for Dick Vermeil, went to UCLA. He pulled me aside, right before my senior year and said, kid, like, I see you running around here. And I used to lift weights, and, I would work out. And he was like, you're built like this, and you're fast. I can see you running. He's like, come out for football. And I don't know. I wanted to chase the girls around campus, and that was like my sport. And he, oh no, come out and play. So I just I took his advice, and I went out there. And one game in particular, very interesting. It was probably second to the last game of the season where I was still trying to understand the position. He fed me the ball through the A gap left, and I got about 3 or 4 yards, and I went back to the huddle. Then he called it to the B gap right, and I got 6 yards, got a first down. I was breathing heavy. Then he fed me again to the left for 7 yards. I'm really getting tired here, coach. And he fed me back to the right, first down again. I'm thinking, okay, I'm done. Then he fed me again to the left. I said, holy crap, he's not going to stop giving me this ball till I score. So then I broke off a 25-yarder, and the next play I just scored a touchdown. I said, I'm done, getting worked like a horse, going left and right. But
Exactly.
he was teaching me that, hey, you can do this, believe in what you're doing, get it done, and I got it done. So that was like my experience. And after that, my next 2 games, I rushed for 300 plus yards in each game, and ended up getting a full ride scholarship to San Diego State University, where I was behind Marshall Faulk, and then that started that college run.
We'll definitely talk about working behind Marshall. That's got to be an experience. All right, Dr. Hall, next question.
Yeah, wow, and that kind of was my next question. I was going to ask Jason what it was like, getting that athletic scholarship at San Diego State, and just being in that large crowd of students and at a Division I school. Wow, what was that like?
When I first got the scholarship, I thought the reason why I actually wanted the scholarship wasn't really to continue to play football at a higher level. It was that my parents didn't have to pay for a college education for me. So, I was focused on academics mostly. Like that was my priority. And then you get fed into the system, and you realize that the reason why you got this scholarship, yes, there's school, but there's also football too, and they go hand in hand. You got priority registration, not because you just get priority registration, but because you need to be at the complex at 1:00 because you're going to be there till 8:00 that night. So very fast and very, very quickly did I learn that I was breathing, eating, and sleeping football, and it was a priority for me to be there. And I just managed them both. I said, you know what? I'm going to be a scholar athlete, which, you had to have a 3.5 or above GPA and being athlete as well. So I just maintained both and got my degree and worked through the sports part. And next thing I know, I'm seeing guys go off to the NFL and they're coming back driving fancy cars. I'm like, there must be some money. There must be some money in this game. Like literally, I really had no clue until I started seeing guys come back, and I'm like, oh, this NFL thing can pay you a little bit. So, my whole thing was always work hard at whatever it is that you're doing, regardless. So, it kind of paid off in my senior year, which I didn't have a great college career. Great meaning I didn't get a lot of playing time. I got injured one season, but at the end of my senior year, Dick Vermeil is my obviously professional coach, but Ted Toner calls me in his office and picks up the phone and calls Bobby Beathard of the San Diego Chargers and just says, hey, Bobby, I got a kid here. He's done everything I've asked him to do. He's never complain and moan and groan. I think you guys need to come take a look at this kid. They brought a scout out. I was big, strong, and fast. Sure enough, it worked out, and San Diego Chargers actually picked me up as a free agent before even going to the Rams. So,
wow, that's amazing. And then the thing is playing behind Marshall Faulk, and you know what you make me sound like? You said you went into the NFL you went to the and for college scholarship, kind of like when you see this Last Chance U that's on Netflix now, where guys that might have not been good enough to play D1 or academically didn't D1, they ended up having the opportunity. You had the opportunity. Your senior year was almost like your Last Chance U. Okay, I'm getting this one opportunity. Then I got the Division I ride. Okay, I'm there because I want to go to school. Then you're playing behind Marshall Faulk. What did you learn from Marshall to kind of help you in that process? Yeah.
One, that he is a student of the game. So what I learned from Marshall is that it's not just about your physical attributes and your ability. It's about understanding what's going on the field, slowing things down in your mind, seeing the bigger picture, just like we try to do in life. And that's probably the most valuable lesson that I learned from Falk. He was just a smart student of the game that wanted to understand all the different nuances to become one of the greatest running backs of all time.
See, that's always just an awesome story right there, that you learn a student of the game and see that. And then you probably picked up not just the football, but taking that to the entrepreneurial level. And we'll get to that for sure, from learning from different people throughout, because what athletes do, I'm a former professional athlete, meaning pro wrestler, but I learned in the professional wrestling business, the whole branding game, but I learned in playing college basketball. As an athlete, we're competitive and we just every day got to get it back up as entrepreneurs. It might have been a bad day, but next day we're back we were back training, or back at practice. Same thing as an entrepreneur. Okay, today didn't go well. Okay, what are we going to do tomorrow to get our next sale? Or what are we going to do tomorrow to get the product better or increase that's the process. That's why as athletes, we can see that. We can see that there's a drive in certain things. So we'll get to that soon. But go ahead, Dr. Holt, your next question.
Yeah, wow, just incredible. I mean, just like I said, balancing academics and athletics and being a scholar athlete, it's just, wow, it's just incredible. So, how were you able to, how difficult was that rather, balancing the academics with athletics in college?
I think it's all mindset. I don't think it was difficult. I think, my mom, like I said, she instilled some things in me. I remember calling her at one point where at the time I probably felt it was a little bit difficult. And she said, son, it's all about burning the midnight oil. And what she meant by that was, you really have to put in there's things that you have to put in the work in order to accomplish. Like you can't get anywhere without burning the midnight oil. If it means that you got to stay up at night and sacrifice, 2-3 hours of sleep, and to learn and get something done so you can score better or be a better student, then you just do it. You do what you have to do at the time in order to achieve that success. So, you can't be afraid to grind. And like you mentioned, Neil, earlier, about, just that will. A quick story: when I fumbled a ball, one of my first carries in the NFL, and I run to the sideline, and Dick Vermeil runs over there. He looks at me. I think he's going to chew me out. He says, "No." He says, "One snap and clear." I step back. He said, "One snap and clear," and I said, "Got it." And he was just saying, that play is over. If you mess up, bounce up, go, and let's do it again. Like it's not always going to be peachy creamy. But one snap and clear. So even me, I'm a big golfer now. I hit a bad shot, I don't get mad. A bad shot for me means another opportunity to do something great. Because now the next shot where I'm underneath the tree and I got to cut it around, I'm going to make that shot. Because I believe I'm going to make that shot. So it comes down to mindset.
All about mindset. I love that. And that's such a key thing. You talked about balancing academics and athletics, and you had the right mindset. Once you became a free agent, that doesn't guarantee you have a spot. And that's the other part. Remember, all these other guys played since 6th grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, maybe even younger. They went to they were recruited by the best schools to get to D1. People were looking at their freshman, sophomore year that they're going to be D1. Most of them were, top athletes. You get to the NFL, you're finding all Americans pretty much in the NFL, meaning like they were the top players. and you end up in the NFL as a free agent. So they're looking at you and saying, okay, we might put you in a practice squad. There's nothing going to happen from this. How did you know that, man, I got to find my place there? And how,
you know what I did? It was the first day. It was the second practice of the first day of two-a-days with the Rams.
Okay.
And they used to let you run in the individuals and the 9-on-7 and skeleton. And then when it came to the team, when the ones were playing against the ones, and it was like the last segment of practice where there's 12 plays, and I'm the 8th back on the depth chart. And the coach said, Justin, get in there. It's the last play. Go ahead, get in. I'm thinking, give me the ball so I can show something.
Exactly.
Right? And this is everyone's moment. It's like, give me the ball so I can show something. Well, what happened, it wasn't a run play. It was a pass protection play. The guy didn't blitz, so I couldn't show him anything with the blitz. And I had to, after your linebackers are not coming in, you go out and you run your route. So I did a little swing route.
Okay.
And Kurt Warner throws the ball down the field to Torrey Holt. As soon as he releases that ball out of his hands, I sprint downfield as fast as I can. I jack up Dre Bly, who's defending him, kind of jack him up on the ground. They blow the whistle. Dick says, okay, I'll see you guys tonight, 7 o'clock team meeting. 7 o'clock in that team meeting, Dick Vermeil, the whole team, staff, everybody, says, turn off the lights. They turn off the lights. He pulls out his little pointer with the red little beam, and he puts it to the last day of practice, and he puts it on my back. He says, I want you guys to watch this kid.
Okay.
Look at this kid and look at his effort. And you see me run out to my swing, and I'm running I'm giving 110% down the field. The eye in the sky doesn't lie. On the opposite side of the field, you got 2 guys on the defense walking back because the play is not to them and it's only practice. And Dick goes off. He says, you know what? If we're going to win a championship, this is how we have to work. This is the type of work ethic we're going to need. I'll take this kid on my team any day of the week with this type of work ethic. And everyone in the auditorium signed on. They said, okay, he's called me Bug. Okay, Bug. Okay. And we worked like that season and made it to that championship game and won that championship. And in the elevator after the game, Dick looks at me and says, son, we couldn't have done this without you. Wow. And he went to the Kansas City Chiefs the next year and actually told his version of the story I'm telling you to his team when he addressed them for the first time. He said, I want to tell you guys a story about a kid named Justin Watson. And he gave him that version. And that's how I made it, because the eye in the sky doesn't lie.
And we'll go back to that story of that team a little bit more, but go ahead, Dr. Hall, the next question.
Wow, it's just interesting. I mean, his life so far has been a blueprint in the power of positive thinking, and wow, and so Justin, how do you get other young people to translate that power of positive thinking into results like what you've done?
I think one, it stems from someone and people like me and organizations like me that are about sharing this type of message, and kids tuning in and being able to be a part of platforms like this where people are talking about the power of positive thinking, so they can get that one golden nugget that can possibly change their lives. So, I mean, it really comes down to exposure. And that's what BLQK is all about. I want to bring forth that exposure so the kids I can use BLQK as a platform, so I can go out and get with organizations and share my story with kids and be a part of their lives and try to make a difference in people's lives. I mean, that's what this whole thing is all about. So, I was fortunate to have a mother and a father, and my mother especially, who instilled these values in me. And gave me, these little golden nuggets, and I went so far through life thinking that every Black kid in America had a mom like me, or had someone telling them the things that I was told. And I realized later, I said, you know what? No, I said that's missing. That's really not there. And I was fortunate. So let me spread my good fortune, any way I possibly can, and I'm going to do it through BLQK.
Now, what's surprising about this is you could have just done a foundation like any other NFL athlete does, retired or current. you decided to put entrepreneurship together with the product and helping others. What made your mindset to do something like that? Because that's different. I mean, I mentioned, Shark Tank would love you for sure if you've ever tried that, because of just the fact of the matter of put a product together with awareness, and those do very, very well. But what made you decide this route than doing the foundation route? You know what I mean? To help communities and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur by like default, by design. I mean, I've this is my third business, or fourth venture, really fifth probably venture of doing different things. So I think I'm just built a certain way. Like I'm competitive. So I've always kind of grown a business and wanted to like see something, bring something to fruition, start something from the ground and build it up. And with last year and the things that were going on in the country, it just kind of, it hit me. I said, exactly, this is the time to couple these two things, right? How can I help?
Perfect time.
It's the perfect time. And so I look at all facets. It's not, no one has a crystal ball, but we all know the temperature of the country and the things that's going on and the awareness that needs to be made and the mark that people are trying to make. So I'm just, there to fill that spot and make a difference now.
I love that. Make a difference now. And so that's so important. I'll let Dr. Hall follow up the next question, but that's exactly, it was the timing. Isn't it, Dr. Hall? It was absolutely the timing for Justin to come up with this business idea.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And particularly when, again, the country is recovering from such a, the pandemic. And then, of course, people have lost jobs. And again, kids have been affected in school. And so to have something this positive is, again, just another testament to what Justin's life has been up to this point. And wow, what we're certainly excited to see in the future. So, wow, I just... very impressed.
Absolutely. So basically how it works is the idea of coffee. Tell us that. Yeah.
So it really stemmed from, I was having a conversation with Kevin Garnett, and we were at a barbecue in the backyard. And
I got to get your Rolodex, having a conversation with Kevin Garnett. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And we talked about the social injustice issue that happened in Minnesota in the Starbucks. And I started to talk about, man, if I had a coffee company, or if we had a coffee company, this is what it would look like. We would want to be inclusive and not just a shop where people go in and get their coffee, but where people are actually saying hello and having meaningful conversations over cups of coffee, and what that whole picture and vision would look like. And I went to bed that night, and I was tossing and turning. I said, coffee. I said, at the time it had surpassed oil as the number one commodity in the world. So it's a big thing that everyone, and I love coffee. I drink coffee every day.
Me too.
So I'm passionate about coffee. And I was passionate about trying to make a difference in a change from what I see in coffee companies that are just, not performing in a way that's inclusive and right and just. So it was really just that. So that morning, ironically, it was Juneteenth, which just by happenstance.
Holy cow!
I called up a group of 8 guys, and when I pick up the phone, people answer, and I'm like, "Hey, can you be in a boardroom tonight at 6:00 at my golf club?" And sure, I can be there. Wow. So I called my attorney friend. I called a guy that had been in the coffee business for his family business for 25 plus years. I called one of my now partner, who works for the Capital Group, understands money, obviously. And I assembled this team of guys, of people, and I wanted to, create the ideation of what is now BLQK Coffee. So that was last Juneteenth, and here we are, and whatever this is, 8-9 months later, and we're here, we're launched and ready to go.
So where's the launch going for your coffee? Oh, sorry.
So launch for us now is we are direct to consumer online. So, blqk.coffee is our domain and web. where we're looking for subscribers and wanting people to subscribe so they can pour with a purpose.
And is there any differentiator for your coffee, not just the social injustice issue, but the taste of your coffee? What is your take? Because everyone, there's all these different types. So it's definitely a gourmet coffee you're getting, right? You're not getting the
So we got really, really lucky because it really wasn't part of the business model when we started to have such a high-end roastery roasting our beans. It was, it was kind of like it was going to be a coffee from Ethiopia. We wanted to source from the homeland of where coffee originated. And we're still doing that, but we were going to source and ship we had a roaster in Canada that was going to roast our beans. Then we're going to ship to a 3PL and distribute. Okay. And we got lucky here in town just with contacts. And I was able to get basically with someone who, like you would consider a Michelin star rated coffee roaster. Right. So in that, we found that, okay, now we have fresh roasted coffee being delivered, and people don't know the difference between freshly roasted coffee.
Right.
And it just kind of like when you're doing things right, things just kind of tie in, because I have a food justice that I'm trying to serve as well. I don't want people putting additives and creamers and these things that they don't need in their coffee. People do that to mask the taste of this bad coffee that they're drinking.
Okay.
So I'm guaranteeing people, I say, look, you drink a full bag of our coffee without anything in it, I promise you will never go back to putting creamers and all these additives into your coffee, because our coffee is actually, it's high quality. We source from the number one, beans quality of beans in the world. And you don't need to put anything in it other than you can drink it straight and you're good to go. So we have the best of both worlds. We have the best tasting coffee coupled with doing justice.
All right. Well, Dr. Hall, go ahead and summarize Justin, and then we're going to find out more information how we can go ahead and get the coffee. Go ahead, Dr. Hall.
Wow, well, no problem. I mean, just so many positive points from this interview. I mean, the power of positive thinking. I mean, work hard, burn the midnight oil, network with friends who are expertise and can help you. Give back to your community. Justin didn't mention, but I mean, 25% of the profits go back into the underserved communities to help other people. And also, don't accept injustices. Move on to create something better, a better product. So, wow. Well, thanks for coming on the show today, Justin.
Oh, thank you. Thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, Justin. Where can we go right now to get the coffee? Where can we go?
blqk.coffee. Also, follow us on our Instagram handle, which is at blqkcoffee. Just to, learn more and be a part of the movement.
Any other projects you have going on, Justin, you could talk about right now, or just pretty much that's what your focus is right now?
Well, I still have an athletic club, and I have a luxury transportation company. I have a bottle where we blow bottles, but we don't have to talk about those things. Right now, my mission is really to do good for this country and just spread the love. Like I want to bring love back, and I got to drive out all the hate that I've seen last year, and I want to do that through BLQK coffee. So that's really, to me, the most important thing in helping these kids. Get to a place, that they're deserving of, especially when they don't have the means to do it. So it's really all about, this economic and educational and food justice.
So it's wild, Justin, you can get all these people together that quickly. So what did you learn after your NFL career, how to become this really successful entrepreneur that surrounds yourself with the right people? How did that develop? How did you learn that process? Because it's not easy to bring the right people on your team and find people that you can reach out to to help you grow to where you are today.
Yeah, I spent 16 years playing a lot of golf and meeting a lot of different people. Golf was really one of the greatest vessels for me to meet a ton of people. But more importantly, I really spent 16 years just really being authentic and loving people. And people gravitate to that light and that energy. You know when it's real, when it's not. So,
exactly.
So being authentic and really just being true to myself and and being about love first. I think, and listening to everyone, even the dull and ignorant, because they too have their story. So,
Right.
I don't shun anybody off. I just believe that I have two ears, one mouth. I'm supposed to take in twice as much as what I put out, and love
Yes.
people, so that's it.
Well, it's a great story. It's a great way. Justin, I'm wondering when your book's coming out, because I could see that as a book for sure. From the surprise NFL career to, entrepreneurship and using your influence, because influence is important. People that have influence need to utilize it to better society, to grow businesses, to use certain things, because not everyone can say they're a Super Bowl champion. Not everyone could say they're connected to X, Y, and Z, or have a reach or a social media influencer. So once we have some sort of influence, we need to use it for the betterment of society. And you're doing that, Justin. So we appreciate it for you coming by.
I appreciate that. And it's one more thing before I go, but
sure.
Like with that, I thought about it this morning. It was on my mind. I said, it's interesting that, a lot of opportunities are for a lot of the guys that have either played in the NFL or, they have some sort of celebrity status. And that's actually where I'm actually trying to move the needle a little bit in these communities, because I want kids to realize that you don't have to be a professional athlete necessarily or have that celebrity status. If you can get the right education behind you and structure your own life a certain way, you too can be impactful. And that's what I want. My goal is to make sure that you don't have to strive to be what I once was. You could do it. There's a lot of different avenues to success. And I would love to see, people in these marginalized communities use these other avenues instead of thinking my only way out of it if I play football, if I make it to, it's not. Like there's education is can take you to the top, to the moon.
It truly can. Dr. Hall can attest that he's a ward of state from LA. Basically, his book, Ward of the Court, and he was able to take it to a successful emergency room doctor and then also in some other entrepreneurial businesses. So he really has shown that truly education is important. And that's why we had you on today, Justin. So we appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Take care, Justin. All right, guys.
You as well.
That was the Dr. Christopher Hall Show. Take care, guys.